let's go through it. Obviously, teams are playing each other in the opening matchup. We know that, but from that point on onwards, it can change depending on who wins, who loses, etc., etc. So it's very hard to predict all the way. I will say, despite FaZe having struggled as of late, I feel their route to potentially get what I would consider a relatively easy route to become a 3-0 team. I believe in it. I believe they will. I believe they will. They have to beat in the first game. I think it's Lin Vision. Easy peasy. Second game, likely they're facing NIP. Could be a close game. It's a best of one as well. But I think FaZe Clan is a pretty safe bet to put up here. Now, who's the other 3-0 team gonna be? I feel like there's a couple of different teams that could be. I'm looking at a Legacy. I'm looking at a Gamer Legion. Legacy is playing FlyQuest in the opening game in a best of one. They could lose that. That's a ballsy pick. You know what? I'm gonna go all in this time around. I think Gamer Legion is a quality team, and I think they can go 3-0. I think they're good enough to go 3-0. I would have put Legacy in there as well, but we'll put Legacy to go through. I also think it's almost a given at this point that Fnatic will go through. I think they're good enough for that. I think they've been stepping up as of late. I think NIP is obvious as well. And that leaves not that many teams left for that. But before that, I think we should talk 0-3. Who's likely to get eliminated first from the major? Rare Atom, I think, is also going to be in that conversation because their opening game is going to be against Imperial. I think they'll lose that. Then they maybe play FlyQuest in the second round. If FlyQuest lose the opening game versus Legacy, I think they'll lose that. So I think Rare Atom is a team I have to put in here. Even though I don't really like it. I don't really want it. I don't know. It's so hard to predict this because it's stage 1. You know, it's nearly impossible. So I think, given that I've gambled up here quite a lot already, I'm going to put Red Candidates next to Rare Atom. I think there's a great likelihood that one of these two teams will end in an 0-2 game, and if they both do, there's a likelihood they play each other, which guarantees us 1 point. So that's my reasoning. It could easily have been the Hunts as well, NRG, Fluxus in that department. I don't think any of these teams are. I think these are more combating to get through, to be honest. So I only really see 5 teams in the mix: NRG, Rare Atom, Red Candidates, the Hunts, and Fluxo. But we're going with this. So that means I have to find 3 more teams who are advancing at the major. Fate, I think they have it. FlyQuest, I think they have it. M80, realistically, you'd believe that they would be good enough, right? M80. The results doesn't look that impressive as of late. Lin Vision, do I believe in them? Not really, to be honest. I mean, they'll win a couple of games, but I also think they'll lose a couple of games. Paravision, I do believe in that, you know. I kind of do believe in that experience. Yeah, I'm going to go with Paravision. That leaves out Imperial, Lin Vision, M80, Fluxo. It's these 3, like Imperial, Lin Vision, M80. Do I believe any of them are going to make it? Not really, to be honest. Not really. Yeah. I think this is it. I think these are going to be my pickups. So there you have it.
When it comes to 3-0 teams, I think it's pretty obvious here. Legacy are going to be your best choice. They are the best Brazilian team that isn't named Furia. They've won a couple. They've actually won a Tier 1 trophy this year, and they finished second in another as of recent. I think they are going into this stage as the strongest team, quickly followed by FaZe. And to be honest, these two teams, I know FaZe is generally shaky in opening stages and that sort of thing, but these two teams are by far the best 2 teams in this stage of the major. Now let's actually jump down to the bottom and talk about our 0-3 team. Let's get the obvious choices out of the way. I think Rare Atom, they have done pretty much nothing except be decent domestically. Internationally, there's just not really been much going on. That's the same with the Huns. The only team that they ever lose to is Rare Atom, and I think both of these teams are some of the weaker teams in this stage of the major. Now, staying on the terms of Asian teams, I actually think Lin Vision have a chance of moving through, and we'll talk about that more here in just a moment. What I really want to talk about is a team that surprised me is Imperial. They have had pretty dreadful results domestically as of late and have not had any success in international Counter-Strike. I think they're a team that could potentially go 0-3. I'm going to put them in the F tier. For the next, Red Candidates, very similar to Imperial. Not much domestic success, really, and 0 international success. Moving on, let's talk about the NA teams. We've got NRG. Right, another team that you could almost say 0-3, but they've looked really strong at home. They've even beaten European teams on NA soil, so I'm not quite confident saying they're F tier, but they're definitely towards the back of D tier. And moving on to M80, I think they are better than NRG, even though they recently have lost to NRG. I think they're a solid enough choice. I could almost see myself putting them through. They did have a good showing at a Blast event, but other than that, internationally, not really the best. So I'm going to keep them in D tier for now, and we'll kind of shuffle as we go. I think due to the recent controversy with Cypher getting benched, a lot of people want to just prey on Fnatic's downfall. I think compared to a lot of these teams, they are going to be B tier. I think they have a decent enough chance of going through. I think I'm going to put them through. Now, let's talk about Perivision, led by Jame. This is the one team I think that's a little bit ahead of the others. I think they've won quite a few European smaller tournaments, ESL Challenger, that sort of thing. I feel like out of these other teams, they're probably the strongest, but still, there's just not that many strong teams apart from Legacy and FaZe. Bait are kind of in the same boat. I would put them actually behind Perivision. I think Perivision has recently beat them. I just think they're stronger looking than Bait. And Gamer Legion, again, maybe a little bit behind Perivision, but if you notice, I legitimately think there is just a huge separation between the top two. But if I had to pick teams going into A tier, it probably would be Perivision, Gamer Legion, and Bait. And that would leave for the B tier. I would likely be putting FlyQuest towards the end of B tier, as well as NIP. And honestly, I could interchange the three of these teams. Since I'm NA bias, I might pick M80 over these, but overall, I think these are just very similar in terms of performance. And Flixo, again, decent internationals or decent domestic success, nothing crazy internationally. I'm going to put them kind of on the same tier as NRG. And overall, this is kind of how I'm feeling when it comes to just overall power rank. All right, so let's go ahead and lock these picks in. Obviously, I'm taking Legacy, and I'm taking FaZe for my 3-0. For the 3-1, 3-2, I'm thinking Perivision at the top. I'm going to go Gamer Legion, Bait. I feel decent enough about Fnatic, and the last two are kind of up for debate. I do like Lin Vision, so I think I'm going to throw Lin Vision on through. They just have enough aura to where I want to pick them. And finally, I think I'm going to be NA biased. I'm throwing M80, despite some somewhat rocky results recently. I'm throwing M80 through. I think against these guys, they can win some rounds. Now for the 0-3s, it's tough, guys. I don't know. Obviously, my gut was telling me to put Rare Atom and Imperial. Obviously, they're playing each other in the first round. So I think I am going to take... I think I'll take Imperial in that. I'm going to leave Rare Atom in there. I don't see them being better than really any team here. They could always make an upset in the best of ones, and please, Valve, please, just make it best of threes so I can be more confident in these. And then it's down between the Red Candids and NRG. I'm kind of leaning towards the Red Candids, but honestly, I think to balance out my previous NA bias, I'm going to throw NRG down there. And just like that, I have the two bottom-seeded teams in the 0-3. I don't think that's ever a really bad idea. It's a pretty boring take, I know. If I really wanted to get crazy, I could take Rare Atom off since I think it's a coin flip between them and Imperial. But I'm feeling this is my first gut instinct, and this is what I'm going to lock in, guys. So let's go ahead and move on.
All right. Let me work this out here. Let me do my pickups here. Let's work this out here. Okay. Legacy versus FlyQuest. Let's go Legacy. They're on a heater. FaZe, Lin. Bro, FaZe can lose this, but I feel like you have to pick them. But why do I feel like Lin is going to upset him and then we're going to see another one of those interviews? Thank you very much. Thank you. FaZe win. Bait, M80. How are Bait playing recently? Let's see. Lost Aurora, beat Legacy, lost to Pain, beat 3D. You know, yeah, we got it. I think we got to go with Bait, bro. Gamer Legion, Fluxo. Gamer Legion. Fnatic, Red Candids. NRG, Nip. NRG, take it home. Let's go with the Asian teams, man. Hold on, let's see. Who is on? It's Cello and these guys? Oh, these guys always come to play at majors, man. These guys always come to play, dude. I'm telling you, bro. Yeah, we're going with Imperial. Legacy versus NRG. What if? Let's come back to that one. Let's go FaZe here. Let's go Perivision here. Let's go Gamer Legion versus Fnatic. Nip, Rare Atom. Nip. Huns versus FlyQuest. FlyQuest, Red Candids, Lin. Let's go with M80. Fnatic, Gamer Legion, Perivision. I'm gonna do it, bro. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna do it, man. Watch this. I think NA is gonna do something this land. Legacy versus Perivision. Jame 3-0. FaZe, Gamer Legion. Do we dare put FaZe 3-0? Let's do it. Let's just fucking do it. If Kerrigan lets me down, that's the final time I'm supporting that shit fucking team. Bait, Nip, Bait, NRG, M80, NRG. Fnatic, Lin. Fnatic, Imperial, FlyQuest. They let me down hard last time, so fuck these guys. But Rare Atom, Fluxo. Let's go. Rare Atom, Fluxo wins this. Red Cannons, Huns. They got it. Red Canids surely got to win this, right? Let's go Red Canids, Fluxo, Rare Atom, and FlyQuest wins. Okay. So FaZe, Paravision 3-0, Legacy, Gamer Legion. Okay, let's say Bait does it here. And then we go Lin, Imperial, M80, Nip, guys. M80, take it home. Let's bring it here. NRG, make it through. FlyQuest, Lin Vision. FlyQuest, make it through. I picked them last time to make it through, and they cost me my Diamond Pick'em. Let's just do NA, bro. Let's just do NA Australian talent here, bro. Fuck it, man. All right. And then we had Legacy, Gamer Legion, Bait. We had M80, NRG. Who was the last one? FlyQuest. Guys, these are terrible.
Plus
03
plus bug.
Thank you, Austin, for the raid, bro. Thank you for the raid. I always co-stream the majors, but I never... But these ones, I don't know if we were going to be able to get rights. Guys, wait, we had we had Rare Atom and Huns, right? You got to do a little schizo picture. Seriously. You think you're wrong about NRG? I think they're good, man. Thank you again, Austin, for the raid, bro. All right, these are mine. Anyway, guys, good luck.
These are the teams we've got listed here. I'm going to start on my 0-3s. So I looked at this. The Huns are not even winning domestically at the moment against other Asian teams. They're not looking like the strongest. I would still put many of the teams above them in order to go through into the 0-3 eliminated column. So that is the one I'm starting with. For these guys, right, I just looking of who they might play against, even in a best of one. I don't think they have what it takes to match up against someone. Maybe if they got a Red Candids or a Rare Atom or NRG, but it's going to be a tough start for them. For the next one, we got Red Canids. And for Red Canids, they're going up against Fnatic. I feel like Fnatic with their map pool is very strong in the best of ones. This isn't a team that will falter there. Also, isn't a team now that is going to be hit by the pressure. Obviously, I wasn't a fan when Cypher got taken out of the team. I don't like that at all. I don't like the way they did it or how they approached it, but I still think they're more than capable as individuals to find themselves taking down Red Canids. Now on our 3-0, I would often say for FaZe Clan, and I know people are going to say, well, it's FaZe Clan, they're in stage 1, this is so easy for them. People would often say, like, FaZe Clan, they never go 3-0. A lot of the time with FaZe, especially in the recent results, Chengdu going out to Mao's and VP, that's a lot stronger teams than anyone else that is within this current stage 1. You've also got, they lost to FUT, who's not even in the major. They did beat Bait, they did beat Tai Lu. I'll just say that I feel like FaZe this time can go 3-0. I'm imagining, because after Chengdu, they didn't go to Blast Hong Kong. They've had this more time. They're going to be on a boot camp, getting Jacob more ready, trying to find their way. The first matchups against Lin Vision, it should be a comfortable one for them. Now, for Legacy, they're playing against FlyQuest. FlyQuest in a best of one could maybe have a chance against them. Legacy always have a way of losing a map. There is always a chance that they wouldn't show up in some way. But then I look at Bait playing up against M80. Now, who do I see worse at the moment? I would actually put M80 worse, but then also, you don't know who they're going to face next. You don't know how it's going to go when it goes into the 2-0 column. So, also the 1-0 column, fighting for 2-0 column. So, again, it's a whole guessing game, but I think I could have maybe a safe bet as Legacy. But Legacy's opening game is obviously quite a tough one. Legacy going up against FlyQuest, who certainly have showed a better improvement over recent time than what I would have expected. But if I put this in, I'm pretty sure one of those will go through. So this is kind of like, I'm almost in my mind guaranteed a 0-3 and a 3-0. I'm not looking to get both of them. All right, and here, now we're going to find 6 more teams that are going to make it through. Now, Bait, I feel like straight away, isn't going to have a problem going through. This is a team who's already been through the major. They know exactly what they should be doing and how to do it. They have now played more officials and got some more experience. I'm hoping they would have been on boot camp as well. Obviously, I'll be finding this out on media day. Gamer Legion, we're definitely going to put them through. They do well in stage 1s of the major, normally. They obviously missed the last major, which hurt them massively. Next, I'm going to put Paravision through. Now, people might think I'm a bit crazy with this one. I'm not sure how many other people would put Paravision going through. But Paravision right now, when we saw them, I was speaking to Dastan, I was speaking to James back at the Star Series event. It was obviously a smaller event. Na'Vi were the biggest team there. They were showing up in a big way. And one thing I know, Dastan knows how to prepare for a major. Now, they do have a lot of young players. They could start feeling a bit shaky, maybe don't play up to their level. But I'll tell you this, that James' experience, Dastan's experience, helping them pull this over the line, at least through this stage, I feel like they would be way above of like a Fluxo, an NRG, a Rare Atom, a Lin Vision, even an Imperial. I think Fnatic will go through. Fnatic with Blame F. Blame F, even in losses, has still been absolutely dominant, full hard carrying, full sending it mode. And then Fear, Jacasmo, Jambo are back together. Hopefully Jacasmo is going to play a little bit better because he certainly, actually at the moment, is under what Cypher would have been. Cypher would have been a better choice. But Crims is someone who will always perform in a major. And also, I think the fact that there was a chance that Crims was not on the lineup and it would have been Jacasmo and Cypher that stayed, I feel that might be giving him like, okay, I'm not as safe as I used to be in this Fnatic jersey. And maybe that'll be something that can carry him through. NIP. Now, NIP is an interesting one because after the Star Series event, they finished second place. They lost to Na'Vi 12 times, but they beat OG, Paravision, and Bait. I was thinking, this team is actually on the rise. Snappy's done it again. Then they went to PGL Masters Bucharest. They lost to Heroic, Saw, and Gentlemates. That was not good. This was really bad. Snappy has just had a kid before that event, though, so maybe he wasn't fully up to date on things. They did actually plan to have a stand-in. But I feel like with the individuals, right, if I'm looking at Wrinkle, Shush, X-Kapersky, who can really pop off at times, Snappy knows what he needs to do to lead this team, and he should be able to secure it with this lineup. Now, from here, this is where it gets so difficult. I have a feeling that Lin Vision might be able to pop off, and they might be able to make this work again. But when I looked at Lin Vision's recent results, they won internally in the Perfect World CS Challenge Series 2. They beat Last Bullet, 9, Rare Atom. Still 2-1 against Rare Atom. But when they've been to Chengdu, they only beat 3D Max, who are just having a stinker of a tournament. They are not boot camping in Europe right now. They're not putting themselves in the best position possible to be ready and all able to take things on. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put FlyQuest through. I was always umming and ahhing between FlyQuest, maybe Lin Vision, maybe Imperial at a very big push, but I'm going to go with this. So these are my picks. I'm saving it. I'm locking it all in. That is stage 1.
And we're starting off with the teams that are going 3-0. And I'm gonna be honest, good luck with predicting the 3-0 teams here. It's going to be very hard, almost impossible. First, I'll go with Legacy. Looking at the matchups, they are most likely to go 3-0 in my opinion. They play really good Counter-Strike. If you've watched the tournaments that they've been in, they play really good Counter-Strike. And I'll say they are the most likely team to go 3-0 here. And my other pick will be FaZe. And I'm telling you right now that this will not win. And FaZe will drop a map or even 2. They have been pretty bad lately, but realistically, if not FaZe, I have no idea who I would pick here, and there is a chance that FaZe and Legacy end up meeting in a 2-0 match, so that would be a guaranteed point, which would be pretty good. And then we're going over to the 0-3 teams, and here my picks are pretty clear. First, I'll go with the Huns. They have no experience in playing anywhere near this level of Counter-Strike. The only reason why they are here is because Mongols made the final of the last major, and Asia got a lot of extra points for that. And the other pick is going to be Red Item. Yes, 2 Asian teams, but you could also argue with Red Canids or maybe even Floxo, but I think Red Item are just worse. And lastly, we're going over to the teams that are advancing. First of all, I'll go with Lin Vision. I can even see them winning the first BO1 versus FaZe, I am not gonna lie, but they should make it past this stage. The second team that I'm going with is Gamer Legion, and even though they have not been great lately, they have not been good at all. They have been changing uppers left and right, but I still think they are more than good enough to make this stage easily. I'll be very surprised if they don't. And I'll also go with Bait. They have a very solid team and have gotten way more LAN experience this past year, so I expect them to make it here. And then I am going with Fnatic, and I know that many of you want to see them fail for what they did to Cypher, but realistically they kinda have to be a pick here. On paper they are probably like top 5, top 6 team in this stage. And then we're going over to another one, which I don't know if it's going to be an unpopular opinion, but I am gonna go with Paravision, which is another team that I'm pretty confident in. James has been cooking with this team and they are way better than I expected at first. It's not like I watched them a lot, obviously, I'm not gonna lie, but I think they have been playing pretty decent Counter-Strike, so I kinda wanna go with them here. And then in my last pick, we'll be going with NIP. Their journey to the major was pretty good, their team is also pretty good on paper, and they recently even made a LAN final that they lost to Na'Vi. What was the tournament? It was Star Ladder as well, with Star Series, yeah, I think it was Star Ladder, Star Series. They made the final and lost to Na'Vi, but I think they have more than enough quality to make it past this stage. There's still some time left until the major starts, so if there's any news that affects a team that I chose in the video and it makes me change any of my picks, I will post the final version of the Pickems on my Twitter the day before the deadline.
It's that time of the year again. We get to do Pickems for the Budapest Major. We got a CS update today. They added all of the Pickems as well as the new stickers, but we're not going to talk about that in today's today's update, we're just going to do stage 1 pick'em. Let's start this off by talking about the teams that I think are going to go 3-0. Now, there is one team that I think is an actual safe 3-0 pick, a very safe 3-0 pick, and that team is Legacy. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't think a lot of you guys really understand how well they've been playing. They nearly, and I really do mean this, they were one round away, one bullet away potentially from winning this final over Aurora, and they also won another championship that was in Asia earlier. It was a tier 2 event, but they looked really good at it. They're on a heater, and coming into the major, at least in this first stage, I don't see a reason why they should have any trouble playing any of these teams, so I'm putting them in the 3-0 category. So I will say FaZe in 3-0. You could do it if you really believe in the new roster, Twist and Frozen, but I think they'll definitely drop at least one game in this stage, so I'm going to put them in 3-1, and instead for our 3-0, we're going to put Bait. Now, I think this team might actually be flying under some people's radars because they actually have some pretty good results, at least coming into the major, taking maps off of teams like Aurora. Winning a series over Legacy is always a good sign, 2-0ing Astralis. They also have a map off of FaZe, like I said, we could see that. They took a map off of Furia, and they also took a series off of G2. I think that this team is definitely a little slept on, so I think 3-0 is safe for them, and those are our 3-0s locked. And we also have FaZe in the 3-1 category. Now for our 0-3 teams, it's really kind of a tough decision to decide between these bottom 4 teams because I do think that most of these teams are very, very likely to go 0-3, but there are 2 teams that I think are the most likely, and the first one, I think the safest bet is actually the Huns. Now, not to be mean to them, but they have not had the best record, and even in their regional matchups when they've played versus teams like Rare Atom, they go back and forth against them, and I think when it comes to the major, we can see them probably dropping a series or a best of 3 to a team like that if they play them in the 0-2 match. And then of course over here we have Virtus Pro 2-0ing them, we have 3D Max 13-1ing them, so the second that they play any like higher level teams, they don't really have a chance. And the other team that I'm picking for the 0-3 is Red Canids. Now this one is tough because I don't actually think this team is bad. I just think that when it comes to looking at their recent results, their form has been all over the place. First game is against Fnatic. They don't have a great chance at winning that, and they don't have a ton of experience playing versus the international opponents. However, they do have a win against Fluxo. They do have a win against MIBR. They could definitely upset, but the problem is that if you're looking at these other teams, Rare Atom would probably beat the Huns. I think that NRG would probably beat Red Canids, and I think Rare Atom would probably beat Red Canids as well. If you want to put in Fluxo instead of Red Canids, that's completely fine, but I think that that's the safest 2 0-3s. Now for our regular advancement teams, I do think that there's 2 teams that are very safe to pick going through, and I think that first team is Lin Vision. This should go without saying. They impressed me at the Austin Major, and even recently their matches have been pretty good. They did have a series versus 3D Max. They did good. Beat Gamer Legion. I mean, again, not as strong coming into this event as opposed to how they did at the Austin Major, but I do think that they should still be going through. I could see them dropping a series if they had a close game versus like Legacy, but yes, Lin Vision should be going through, and the other team that should be going through without an issue is Fnatic. Now they did have that controversial roster take where they removed Cypher for Jacasmo, but I hate to be that guy. I do think that that is an upgrade, and Fnatic has looked very good so far. They could even make it through 3-0, but I do think that they should drop a series here or there, maybe a best of 1 to Bait if it came down to it. You do have some teams with promise. I think NIP making it to the next stage is something that we could bank on. I also think that we could see a team like Gamer Legion, who's been playing good throughout the year, actually throughout the entire last 12 months. They could make it through, but then that last spot is very difficult. I want to give my NA bias to M80 because they do play really good, but NRG in the head-to-head just beat them in a best of 5 at Fragadelphia. We also have to maybe give some credit over to Paravision for making it to the major. I mean, this is James' revenge, and it's really hard to even count a team out like Paravision from making it through, but this last spot is kind of player's choice. I don't know if FlyQuest has it in them. They again have played well at majors in the past, and if we look at their recent form, they actually haven't been playing terrible. They did 2-0 Fnatic. A series over 3D Max is very respectable. Losing to Legacy's fine, losing to Liquid's fine, losing to Gamer Legion's fine, but I do think that these results alone kind of say as to how they're playing as a team. They are making some deep runs pretty often, and I think that they are a safe bet to make it through, steal that last spot if they go 2-2. So I think this is a pretty safe Pickems. I'm actually going to lock these, but you can let me know if you guys have anything that you want to change up.